Yeah,
Because we don't have enough people yet. Okay.
because of the quorum.
Yes.
Thank you, by the way. This works out very well since I have school pickup duty today. So I appreciate it. Now, there are going to be a few of us. Our marketing sales coordinator, Juan Luvian, also talking about it. Christine McFadden, our manager of schedules. Is that it? Okay. Thanks. And I'll take you through some of what we're working on. Is this on? There we go. If you weren't here, and I believe some of you may not have been here, back in 2012, we started putting together what really became the bus foundation of the Green Light Plan. And we brought in an outside agency. We worked with our marketing and outreach folks. They were called Quest Communications. We went everywhere we could possibly go in the county, basically just asking anyone who would listen and work with us, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to travel? What do you need from your transit agency? We got 4,400 written responses. These are the people who would actually, surveys on buses, take the time to talk with us. There are probably thousands more that we did interact with who didn't. But that's really how we came up with this community bus plan that was part of Green Light to take us no matter what happened with the referendum. And then that is moving forward as part of the strategic direction, the path forward that we passed last year. So that originally was a 10-phase plan, and as we moved forward, they decided to pare that down into a 3-phase plan. We started last fall. We changed some routes. We eliminated the most unproductive routes. We've got a big change coming up in October, another one in February, a small change coming up in June as well. And a lot of this is still in keeping with those principles of Green Light and the bus plan. Of course, without the funding, we can't move to the 15-minute frequencies we'd hoped for. But we can create more efficient system. We can move to a grid network in certain areas, which we're doing, improve our span of service, and some of the coverage, too, with the better efficiencies. So we'll move into what's coming up, some minor changes coming up in June. I'll just take you through this quickly and then hand it over to Juan and Christine. And I'm doing this purely selfishly because I'm very excited about this, because what we're going to be doing simply is rerouting the Route 11 as it comes up 34th US 19 into Crystal Lakes Manor, loop it around and bring it back out again. And by doing that, instead of using the 444, we will give them some tremendous service they've never had. 7-day-a-week service, later service, more frequent service, bringing them very quickly up to Pinellas Park Transfer Center. It's this one I'm very excited about, and it's neat. And by the same token, we can take that lower leg that you're looking at right here out of the lower leg here of the 444. We can take that out, create some efficiencies there as well. And I'll let Juan talk a little bit about some of the outreach, because he's been very busy taking care of the outreach for that, and then work on some of the other changes.
So we started going out, actually not going out, but talking to several different places in Pinellas Park for the 444 and for Route 11. We wanted to make sure that they knew that the service was either going to stay the same or was going to be replaced with another route. And we've called St. Giles 1 and 2, Mainlands. We've talked to Crystal Lakes and Magnolia Gardens. Just recently, we've put behind the driver notice on our buses, so all our buses have that already. And we are working with management in the Crystal Lakes apartments to hand out palm cards that'll give the residents information on the new changes that they'll be receiving. We will also have informational boards at several terminals, the Park Street Terminal, Pinellas Park Transit Center, and Grand Central Station. And we've also attended a meeting with Crystal Lakes residents, they were very happy to have us and to learn about the new service in their area. And we also talked to staff at the Magnolia Gardens. And Christine will talk to you a little bit about 52.
Good afternoon. I'm Christine McFadden. I'm the manager of scheduling here at PSTA. I've been here since August, so I'm relatively new, and this is the first time I've come before this committee. So thank you for being partners with us. Route 52, we have had issues with overcrowding and running time. So as a kind of a stopgap measure, we are truncating it or stopping it at Grand Central Station. We found that most of our passengers on Route 52 got off at Grand Central and either got back on the 52 or whatever the first available bus was going into downtown. So they will still have plenty of options to get into downtown St. Petersburg, and we can put that time back into the route to help it stay on time. I guess that's about it. First, the other thing I meant to say is I wanted to thank Bob for stealing my thunder, because the really good thing about this route change was the 444 and the 11.
11 years of being a PIO.
So this change will take place on June 5th, these changes. The 444, the 11, and the 52 stopping at Grand Central Station. And then back to Juan's thing, these are the outreach things that we have done. Do you want to go through them, Juan, or are we okay? Go ahead.
So for the 444 and the 11, we've actually already done certain things, and for the 52, we also have done a couple of things. We have that same information in the behind the driver notice. We'll also have sandwich boards at the terminal, and just because 52 is a big change, we're going to have vest outreach at Grand Central Station. So you'll be seeing PSTA staff starting May 31st. We're hoping, yes. So for the 52, we're going to focus at Grand Central Station, making sure we let everybody know that the 52 will be stopping at that terminal and then heading back towards Clearwater.
So for October, part of following the community bus plan is streamlining the routes. Oh, am I stealing your thunder now? Okay.
No, I was hoping you'd do this part.
And kind of creating efficiencies within the routes. You guys have packets on your table in front of you of the maps. It's reinvestment in the routes that are doing well, the portions of the routes that are doing well. So if we have a route that part of it is doing well and the other part not so well, we can reduce the service on the part that has lower ridership and increase it on the part that has higher ridership. So that's kind of what we're looking for in these October changes. It all goes along with the recommendations that were developed during the community bus plan.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So these are the maps for the overall proposal for 2016. We can go through the maps quickly, and if there's something that anybody wants to zero in on, I'd be happy to talk about that. But I don't want to spend all your time going over each and every route because there's a lot of changes happening.
You will find these on the website as well. Just click the workshop banner and you'll find these, so you can go through them, also with expanded shots of them for different parts of the county.
I remember going back to the changes on the 11, was Crystal Lakes one of the areas that had issues because taking service away?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes, they
we're
were.
actually fixing this and providing them something better?
Yes.
Absolutely, and I just, to show Christine I'm an equal opportunity offender, it's not just her thunder I stole, really. Jeff Thompson is here. He's our Director of Transportation. About a year and a half ago, we had a meeting with Jeff, some of his staff, the union, and the supervisors, and we were looking at Crystal Lakes Manor. And without even blinking, it was Jeff, I think a couple of the union members and drivers said, well, just route the 11 in there. We kind of looked at it and said, what do you mean? Said, well, it's always running ahead of schedule. What the term is hot in the north end of the county. And I said, you can probably run it in there and out without even added money. So there's a good chance we could be breaking even with that service change. So we're giving somebody a lot of extra service and may not cost us anything. So another reason we're excited about it. Oh, and the community engagement, this is for October. Our last, well, not our last workshop, just workshop only was last night, and that was the North Greenwood Rec Center. We started a couple weeks ago in Oldsmar. We've had them in the evening predominantly, and this is the first time we've had them only in the evening. And it's also the first time I haven't gotten any complaints about holding them during the day because people couldn't attend in the evening. So I'm happy about that. Same thing with Saturday. The folks who came here on Saturday really were thankful for that, which is why we've added a second workshop and public hearing on a Saturday. So those are still to come, June 7th and June 18th. The 18th is on Saturday. We want to give people a chance. About another 3 or 4 weeks so they can go on the website. They can really get into the weeds if they want to, looking at these service changes, and then give us some of the feedback, because this has been coming pretty quickly. And we want to make sure we get their comments. And this is some, and I've just added them this morning, some of the comments we're getting that we've seen out there. One of the ones involves Dunedin, where what we were considering and doing is merging our 66 with the Jolly Trolley, and that it was the proposal from Dunedin was to move service off of Douglas Avenue and onto Edgewater, so they could ride along the water. But a lot of people want to see us to stay on Douglas because it will serve the Hale Senior Center, the library, and the Jays Park. So we had a few of those comments. But one of the things we're going to be doing is routing the 61. It makes a kind of a goofy loop right now by Palm Lake Village and up by the high school, where we're going to have that covered with a connector and go straight to the 61, go straight to Countryside Mall. That idea has been pretty popular. We've had requests for additional service, like a north-south on Patricia Avenue that'll connect Gulf to Bay with Maine. Later service, some later runs, which is high on the priority list for the 78. The 78 runs from Park Street up to Countryside Mall, and it ends pretty early. I think the last run's about 7:20 out of the mall. And I've been out there at Park Street when we've had guests come in from the beaches wanting to go there for dinner or a movie, and realizing they really can't get back. And when there's a language barrier, in this instance, I didn't want to tell them to take the 78 there and then try to get them home via the 60 and the 19, because that's intimidating. So they just said they were going to go during the day the next day. Now, one of the proposals is streamline both the 59 and the 18 by not going into the mall. And we don't like going into malls. We don't like to go into any parking lot because there are a lot of safety issues. But it really slows the routes down. So we've heard, people plus and minus. They like the fact that it would streamline, but a few people who use those stops, of course, they want to go into the mall. So we've had a few of those. Same thing with Heritage Village. We get very little bit ridership. I think that's in North Seminole. I think we just wanted to keep it on Seminole Boulevard instead of going in there. That'll save us some time and help keep it on time as well. A request to extend the Route 9 up right to here. And the proposed 16 right now is a 60-minute headway. And we've already had some requests to try to do something to get that more frequently. And we've also had one request to restore the East Lake Connector. So, yeah, one request. Yes, and that's kind of ironic. I don't know if it's ironic or a coincidence that it was only one. But so our next steps, we have the public hearings, and we've got marketing now. We'll start to work once we formalize things and the board signs off on them, on the changes. Then we start to put together our packets and our information to hand out, because this is going to be big. The changes, those of you who helped out at Williams Park, once again, thank you. These changes are going to be even bigger than that, because remember, Williams Park, we were just at Grand Central Williams Park. Well, we're going to have 4 areas. We're going to have Park Street Terminal, Gateway. We're going to be up at Countryside Mall, and the lay-by right here that we're going to have to man with the yellow vests. So we want to get really ready for that. We also have to train the drivers. We've got to train the CSRs. So that's what's going to be going on as we lead up to that week before it actually takes place in October. And that's just your informational update. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The Countryside Library, the new library, it's not on any bus system. The old one was.
Yes.
And I've been thinking about, well, how could they handle that? And I was wondering if we could make the connector, the Oldsmar connector, actually have a big front table drive to go into the library. Actually make it part of the
I think that already it is covered by the connector, isn't it?
I believe.
It is. You can get in there.
have that be part of the route.
Okay, I'll put that.
Part of the standard route. Yeah, but yes, of course you can. But the other thing is, I'm not even sure with the larger buses they've been running on the connector, if that they can actually go back there.
That I would doubt. I've been back there myself.
And so I don't know whether right now it wouldn't even work. But I mean, it's tough that library is not
I agree. The old location was a very good one. We had a lot of service going right by there. And we used to use it for public hearings and public workshops, so we can't anymore. And, you know, the connectors there are ending so early, it's not much of an option. But we'll look into it. I'll make sure I'll enter that into the public comment. Thank you.
You're moving the connector to Belcher. You're suggesting moving the connector off of Countryside.
Yes.
It won't even be running by the library.
It will still flex by the library.
I think it's close enough where the flex part will cover it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and that same thing, you know, there's a group, when I mentioned we're pulling the 61 off of its northern loop right now, which goes up County Road 1 by Palm Lake Village, on Michigan, over by the rec center, then down by the high school. That is all covered by the Dunedin Palm Harbor connector. So there's still service there. And the issues, especially with Palm Lake Village, where they always battle, they were trying to get us to go two ways, and they want to be dropped off on a certain side of the street. The connector is custom made for that. Yes?
With the things you're removing from 444, which I think, by the way, that sounds great, adding it to the 11 is going to be a great service improvement. Isn't 444 kind of at the bottom of all the list whenever we do this? By taking those things off, doesn't it make it even a little more, I don't know what I'm trying to ask.
Even slightly lower ridership?
Here we are, thank you, yeah.
As, you know what? I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. I think it is now our lowest ridership route, and it probably will be a little lower because it's losing the Crystal Lakes Manor ridership.
Or maybe
Although
we'll consolidate them, so by taking those miles out, maybe something will help it.
And I would suspect that some of the people will be using that 11 to go up and transfer to the 444 so they can go into Walmart as opposed to getting dropped off at the street. So we'll have to see how that shakes out.
444 become almost an Uber ride.
That's another subject.
Any more questions? Ms. Marilyn? I would
All right,
like
thank
to
you.
see us, prior to the service change, put out some sort of an email to the track allowing us to sign up to do some of these ambassador shifts. So that we can just take it 4 different locations. I mean, I think that we ought to make an effort to.
We're way ahead of you, Elaine. We're going to need so much help. Thanks.
Thanks, good presentation.
Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to say that we now have a quorum, so we're going to back up to our action items. And has everyone had an opportunity to look at the April 19th meeting minutes and review those? Any changes or edits to those minutes? Without any changes, I would entertain a motion to approve the April 19th, 2016 meeting minutes. Is it good? A second? Julie? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Great. And then next, we have the Almerton Road parking ride presentation. I had to hear you. When you moved, there was
Good afternoon, members of the track committee. My name is Henry Captain. I'm the director of maintenance. My job is basically to oversee the fleet side of maintenance and also the facilities out there in the offices. So on page 6 of your packets today, in addition to what I'm going to have on the screen, is action item 4B, which is for our Almerton Road parking ride. The action item is to recommend approval for a one-time contract with JAM 520 Construction, that's the contractor, for the Almerton Park and Ride improvements for a not-to-exceed cost of $200,000. We're going to go through just in a couple seconds what exactly this project is all about. So for those that are familiar with the Almerton Park and Ride out there in Largo, this facility was originally built as a Kentucky Fried Chicken way back in 1984. In 2003, PSTA purchased the property for about $750,000, and we converted it to the park and ride lot that it is today. That facility and that park and ride lot serves our 300X commuter group, and that runs Monday through Friday, about 6 in the morning till 8 at night, and we serve about 74 passengers per day on that route. Unfortunately, over the last 30 years that that building has been in existence, time, age, trespassing, vandalism, and a bunch of other factors have taken its toll on the facility. That is the reason why in 2015 we actually closed the facility. The park and ride lot remains open today and is still in use. Some of the pictures that you're going to see before you are some interior and exterior pictures. As you may or may not know about the building itself, the kitchen area, since it was a Kentucky Fried Chicken, has been walled off, so you don't actually see that, but trust me, it's still back there in its former glory. But some of the other things that you do see if you walked in there today is obviously water has gotten into the facility through the roof. You can see that on the floors right there. That's the waiting area. And obviously with water infiltration into the facility, you have mold and mildew. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns that we have. Some of the other things that you'd encounter, as you can see a picture of our roof, the gutter system and the drainage system is obviously has been corroded. This picture right here, that's the kitchen area. Like I said, it's still there. It's still in existence, and it's aging just as much as the outside is. Down here are some restrooms, and of course we have a picture of the electrical systems right there. So before you, in our action item, is in a partnership between the Federal Department of Transportation and also the Federal Transit Administration, PSTA has decided that it is time to demolish the Almerton Park and Ride facility. What you have before you is basically a demolition plan. Everything in the parking lot, including the building and the existing amenities, is going to be removed. It's going to be demolished, it's going to be taken away, and then we're just going to shrink the footprint of the existing layout. This is a site plan renovation. As you can see, the building is gone, and the footprint of the building has actually shrunk. What that's going to be replaced with is basically a green space. It's going to have some of our nice new design shelters. I have a picture for those who haven't seen those yet that are currently being deployed as we speak out to places like Largo Transit Center. Thank you, Jeff. The parking lot is going to actually be redone so that it functions kind of like Largo Transit Center. We have bus bays here and here. There's a lot more room so that the bus operators can pull in and out of the parking lot. We're going to have some palm trees put in, some grassy areas, and right here in the center are going to be approximately 2 to 3 bus shelters. There's going to be all new striping, designated ADA parking, crosswalks, direction of travel, the folks that park their cars, restriping. Everything is going to look very fresh and clean and new there. So part of the process that we have to go through is that in order to secure a contractor, we need to put out a procurement. The Lima Prominence Department and Purchasing did that. We got several responses, as you can see, and the lowest, most responsible contractor was known as Jam 520 Incorporated. So before you, as part of the action item, the total project budget, both from PSTA and FDOT, is $200,000. That is the budget for this project, and that's why we're asking for a not to exceed. Currently, the supplier has returned a bid price to us of approximately $147,983. So that's what they bid at this point in time. So we're asking for a $200,000 project budget because sometimes in construction projects, we need to have a little bit of flexibility in case we encounter something out there in the site. Keep in mind, we have gone ahead and performed all of the site surveys, underground survey. We have tested for contaminants in the building that would require additional cost. Everything so far has looked good, but keep in mind, this site, at least to us, has been in existence for 30 years. So So that's why we're looking for the $200,000. I have one more picture I want to show you, just for those folks who have not seen what our new bus shelters look like. So this is a picture of the shelters that were just installed last weekend at the VA Medical Center down there in Bay Pines. These are our newly redesigned double-wide shelters. As you can see, they're very open, they're very bright, they're very clean, they're solar powered. You can't really see the solar panel, but it's actually right there. Solar power panels have come a long way. It's actually conformed to the roof, so it conforms to the roof line. I can tell you that if you've seen these shelters, and they are coming to a location near you shortly, a lot of compliments, very nice looking shelters. So I just wanted to share that with you. The VA was very pleased, and also the folks out at Largo Transit Center was pleased as well. I'd be happy to take any questions.
What is the solar panel? Is there a light under there?
Yes. It is actually right there.
Oh, okay.
And it's much smaller because it's made of LEDs. So it's much brighter for less power, lasts a lot longer.
So there will no longer be any, there'll be no restroom facilities available at the Alberton parking lot?
That is correct. There actually hasn't been any restroom facilities in Alberton for almost a year now. I know that the surrounding businesses there, Starbucks, KFC,
So those are close by?
they're very close.
Okay,
Walking distance.
Rallies or something like that.
Absolutely.
okay. And the bid includes the demolished paving, landscaping, and shelter?
Yeah.
Julie?
I'm not familiar with the parking lot that Alberton. Can you tell me where people go from there? They park their car and take transportation to where?
Right at 300X, runs down Alberton Road to Tampa, down from Tampa back and forth. Or it's not designed for 59 runs out Alberton to Alberton to Indian Roxas.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I have questions. How often is the 300X run? I knew about the 300. I've been to the building, but does the 300 run all day, or is it just one of those in the morning and evening?
It runs, we have one bus out there running all day, an hourly pace during the middle of the day. And we have 3 buses running out there in the morning, evening, and evening.
And do people use the noontime bus or the 1 o'clock bus?
I'm not qualified to answer that.
We have some riders, probably not as heavy as the work trips as we refer to in the morning and afternoon. We have some riders.
Sure.
One thing I want to add is that if you go ahead with the approval, that this project will start immediately by the end of this month. It will be completed by the end of June, so it's a very quick turnaround, 30 days. Even under 30 days.
Is there expectation of doing some sort of marketing around the new facility or new changes to, I mean, to me, 74 passengers a day doesn't seem like the ridership that we're serving for $200,000. So is there something to try to increase the ridership coming around the corner?
I've heard, normally, if we have plans on that side to do like a ribbon cutting or anything, I have to imagine with us cleaning up the area, we usually do have to take those opportunities to really just kind of draw attention to, some of the places that we have.
As of right now, we have not discussed it because but I will certainly,
Okay, yeah, maybe
Bring that
mention
up.
it at the track or something like that.
To kind of answer your question a little further, because right now in the current state that the facility is in, it actually needs to be demolished because one of the reasons why it was closed is because after hours, vandalism and trespassing, the illegal activity that was going on there. Not to mention that just the age of the facility, there are things such as codes, building codes that unfortunately to invest money to repair it or bring it back to a state of good repair would cost much more than $200,000.
And I'm not supporting your recommendation, it's more I'd like to see people use it more. I mean, if we're gonna do this, I'd like to see us increase the ridership that goes through it. So there have to be people out there. Elizabeth?
Yeah, shelters are beautiful. I saw But then I'm worried about how long is it gonna take for those butts to get discarded on the ground, and I just, well, this cringe when it starts to happen. But I don't see those gorgeous no smoking signs up there.
At the VA?
Yeah.
Well, that was just when the construction was completed, the installation on Saturday. Our
Oh, okay.
facilities crew usually after has to go in with things such as trash cans, the signage, the additional system maps. So yeah, we do put them in
And the
there.
other thing about that, when I would drive my van and carpooling my daughter back and forth to Lower High, I've seen that station for years, and I've always wondered. Then I learned about the 300X, going to Tampa. See, now I'm somebody that needed to be marketed to. I never knew. Even now, I was talking to somebody about a possible job in Tampa, and I said, well, if the bus system will take you to Tampa, I don't know where it's going to drop you off, but I know it goes there. So then I have to go research that. I'm not going to take advantage of that, but I'd love to just go have the adventure to go over to Tampa, and I don't know where it's going to throw me out,
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
kind of
those-
marketing. So that would be the kind of marketing. I mean, people like
Yes,
me, I've been here
absolutely.
20 years, and I
Unquestionably.
just thought, ooh, that's interesting. That's something you see up north, park and ride, in Boston, they have park and ride. So it wasn't quite like the ones I was seeing in Boston, but I'm the kind of person that needs to be marketed to.
Well, Elizabeth, I think that's a fabulous idea, and it might be an opportunity with us really kind of redoing this space to really draw more attention to that. Because like you said, you're absolutely right. There are folks out there that say, I drove by this, I didn't know. So that might be a good opportunity. And to the other point you made, I know Henry oversees 2 divisions of maintenance, fleet, and facilities, and we are starting to try to put some of the larger no smoking signs out there. That's just an ongoing battle, so that's something we'll continue. Yeah, but I'm going to ask, and Marilyn, I know it's noted down, I think that's a great idea, just from the committee, and maybe we go out there and draw attention. If we do something around the time that they get that construction finished, maybe we can kind of do something.
And I was just going to say, when you look at what some of the things that are happening regional, where we're connecting with Hillsborough and some of the other counties, you're going to definitely start to see more of that because we want people to know that we do connect.
And it's that easy. It sounds like it should be easy, but I think how easy?
I wondered too if there might be an opportunity to designate 1 or 2 of the parking spaces as a drop-in ride. There may be families out there that have one car and one of them is traveling clear to Tampa and the other one just needs to drop them off. And it seems like a great facility for that. Because you're off of the beaten path, you're not dropping in a regular bus stop. Might be something.
Absolutely. I'm sure I'm talking to the right person there. It's great space to have, and I'm glad we're preserving it and not selling it, and so there could be opportunities for expansion as well. I know right now we have the main dedicated rock going in there, but who knows what the future may hold. We know spaces are premium in the county, so.
Can we go back to the diagram map that showed the handicap parking spaces and the crosswalk so that Ms. Gloria to my left can look at that and approve it or not? I'm totally serious.
No, I know. Well, it's kind of hard to. It looks like the walkways are actually all working. What is the side road there?
You have your laser print.
It's not just the walkway for the parking spaces to that, it's also what are the curb cuts?
That's right.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, there's great curb cut to the sidewalk on the there. So it actually does take you right up there. That's one of my big issues with having the safe access from the sidewalk to wherever you're going. Because some of us are riding the bus or but then that's if there were any other buses dropping anybody off here, where would they be dropped off?
I think I understand the question, Jeff.
Connecting.
Yeah,
You're talking about this one.
Some of
So,
them would be the
So I believe the
Route
question
right.
is, do any buses actually drop off on Homerton, or do they all come into the facility? Is that the question?
At this, we all come to the
We all
facility, right,
buses
right
come
now,
in.
currently, we
Okay.
come to the facility,
Okay.
yeah.
So really, the only issue would be that the sidewalk access is from Homerton, I think.
Right, so if I'm on the sidewalk and I'm traveling to whichever direction, are you able to show me Solomonson's on the right?
Yeah,
I-
it's Elmerton.
And there is a walkway right to the sidewalk.
Right, so as you know, Homerton is under ongoing construction over the last 10 years.
For the 20 years I've lived here, yeah.
So I know that if it's not been done already, and I believe most of it has, as part of their construction, this is all going to be brand new sidewalks. Some of it is new, some of it's going to be new.
Good.
I know that this is going to be a brand new apron. We are going to, just as you said, connect up to the sidewalk to take you right to, and I know you can't see it because this diagram's not very good, but this will actually take you to the center of the island where you can wait for the bus.
There'll be curb
Right.
cuts, so if I come through there, if I'm in a mobile chair, bike, there's curb cuts that takes you into the center island.
Yes. One of the things that we took into consideration for this is that ADA accessibility was important from all sides of this what we're calling this island here.
Yes.
So it's here, starting from where all the ADA accessible spaces are. Those will be extra wide as required, and of course the designated signage as well, and of course the marked indication of crosswalks, and of course the crosswalks, sidewalks going to the waiting area, as well as the platform itself. This is actually going to be all concrete so that you can go around the entire platform, because buses may load on both sides.
So the walkway from the handicap spaces across to the island, does that, no, other side, does that put you on a direct line of traffic ingress and egress to the parking lot? If you're crossing there?
No, actually, this isn't. The bus actually comes in this way, doesn't it?
The bus comes down, Fountain, comes to the south side, and off of 133rd.
This way?
Yes,
And then
just like that, and then right
Yep.
there.
Oh, okay, so then the bus is.
Because we have to, the bus has to go on the right, we have to be on the right side to get on the right side of the island there, so that's why.
And what are the
that's why it's
in and
done that
out
way.
arrows off of Fountain Lake?
This here, that just denotes that can be a ingress egress.
Okay, but it's
And
not
current-
currently.
It's
Okay.
currently there right now.
Okay, gotcha.
But bus traffic does
I mean,
not.
it goes back to you guys being right now.
No, we just have one-way traffic through there as far
Right,
as the
but
bus goes right now.
that's right, yeah, but with this is, yeah, this is not.
Yeah, I was looking.
Yeah, oh, where you people
Right,
are now.
exactly.
Yeah, some of that's gonna happen, but as long as it's marked, as long as those places are marked with the color,
Really
like that,
clearly.
then the driver, you know, it's on the driver anyway, but they don't realize it's on them until the line markers and then.
Any other questions? Great report. Do we need an action, just an action item, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for a recommended approval of this construction.
Do I have a motion from the, okay? And all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Super.
Thank you very much.
Gloria? Okay. First and
Oh,
second.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, because they have to have it just done.
That's great. I neglected to, for those of you who are unfamiliar, to introduce this gentleman to the right. To my right, this is James Bradford, your COO, correct, Chief Operating Officer of the PSTA for Economic Development month, and so James has stepped in. Like to share anything?
I do have a few announcements. First, I would like to recognize Shelby Harris, if you might stand. Shelby Harris is retiring at the end of this month. She is PSTA. She's been here over 35 years.
Wow.
With PSTA, so I don't have to tell you we're going to miss her dearly, and we hope that she still visits. So I mean, time is, you know, when she told me a year ago that hey, I got 1 year to go, and it just went. But we love her. We're going to miss her. I mean, she's been absolutely great. And 35 years of your life with one place. So congratulations goes to her. Absolutely. I would like to, tremendous job, and thank you, Henry, tremendous job by the planning and scheduling department. As Cassandra said last month, the great thing too, and it's all in-house staff. We have Juan and Christine and Bob Latcher and Marilyn. They've been part of the workshops and getting information out. And as always, the invitation is open for the track committee members if you'd like to come out to some of those too. We've had actually quite a few things happen since the last track committee meeting. Let me just run those down. This morning, we were featured on Fox 13 for Charlie's. Anybody ever heard of this Charlie's World? Fox 13, Good Day, Tampa Bay. And so he was standing at one of our Central Avenue trolley bus stops live this morning, and between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Broadcasting. He was waiting with a lady who rides our Central Avenue trolley who knits, and she has a knitting business along Central Avenue. And so they're talking about, again, what we all know, the benefits of riding, and she's able to knit and just ride the bus and not have to worry about parking or being in traffic. So that was a great story that we had featured for us this morning. Also, since the last time, I think we mentioned we were going to do an Earth Day. And we did do that, and we lined up a couple of buses over here in the West End parking lot. We had 50 vehicles surrounding it, and just talked about, hey, you ride the bus, how many vehicles you can lose on the road. So, and I know you all mentioned Brad Miller's weekly videos, and those are starting to pile up. So if you haven't been yet, let me just give a quick plug. If you Google Ride PSTA and YouTube, you'll see all of our wonderful videos pop up. And so we have one on regionalism with our chair, Darden Rice, which was pretty good. Adventures in Dunedin. We talked about the Clearwater Ferry. So, and then if you want to see the Earth Day event, that's also on Live PSTA. And last but not least, I heard someone mention it. We had our grand opening on Thursday and ribbon cutting for the Largo Transit Center, and that was a wonderful event. And Henry staff and transportation went out there, and you see the bright new bus shelters out in that area, and we also have video on that too, so also go to YPSD if you want to check that out. And the service started Sunday, May 1st, and I think it's, I hear good things. So far, so good. And I think that's about it. So we've been busy.
I would like to, don't want to put you on the spot, but I would like to turn it over briefly to Gloria as well to share the experience of and what came from that.
Well, I'll be able to show the video maybe at the next meeting or something like that, but it was actually because Elaine saw something, she told me, and I contacted them about the whole issue of safe access from sidewalks to stores. That our buses are all, handicap accessible. Sidewalks are largely pretty good, but shopping center access is awful. And so they actually did a piece about 2 weeks ago on Bay News 9 about safe access. They did it right by Countryside Mall there, and the fact that Countryside Mall has one single way you can get from the sidewalk into the mall. That's it. They've got 8 car entrances, they've got 6 buses and some bus stops all around it, and it's one single way. And he was aghast too when I told him, for example, the new Fresh Market, or Whole Foods that's there in the Sears facility. The only way that you can get into that store is to go from the sidewalk, is to go into the mall, go up past Macy's, into the mall, to Sears, through Sears, come out the side door of Sears, and around the front to go to the front door of the store. And they think, oh, well, we didn't know we needed to sort of put an actual walkway to the sidewalk to the front door of the store. But it turned out, and again, we're making progress as things go, that at Countryside Mall, apparently the parking lots by the anchor stores are actually owned by the anchor stores. And so it's Sears' responsibility to make that happen, and you can make the thing happen with JCPenney, and I believe, and Dillard's to make them have to put in that kind of access too. Because every bus rider is not arriving by car. And so every bus rider needs a safe way to get to the front of the mall. But there are plenty of shopping centers, Cypress Point on 19, have 0 to get to the
say too, and I thank you for that, and that's one of those things where you just kind of raise your awareness to it, and after you realize, well, come on, what's going on. I think you all are empowered, especially through this committee, because a lot of times PSTA gets invited as a partner when there's new construction projects, because we come to the table and say, all right, what do you need for bus access and curb cuts and that kind of thing. So just raising our awareness, and you're probably able to work through us as we see these things, and now we're able to go and say, oh, in addition to the bus access points, where are some of our people access points when we're dropping folks out, how they want to get there. So maybe we can help kind of raise that awareness.
Absolutely.
Because, and it is true, because I mean, not only is it proposed in the village, but it's just purely pedestrian. We are ending up having to walk through active lanes of traffic to get from a bus stop into buildings. And Gloria brought to my attention, it's one thing when you're upright and walking through it. Drivers have a little better line of visibility. When you're in a chair, you're the same height as the driver. They're not even likely to see
Like a
you.
little child.
So that's why I was bringing up the marking and the crosswalks that you're doing in this facility. It's awesome, but I just wanted to bring something. Absolutely.
I'm glad you all brought those to our attention, but I'm sure it makes sense. We'll keep an eye on this.
Great. Anybody else? Any business? All right. Oh,
Yes,
Ms. Elizabeth.
forward business, about, we have something on the buses.
Oh, the restraint thing.
Yeah, the restraint.
Oh, with the restraint system?
But I do want to make that needed, share something that's happening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe we can get that in on the next one.
That'd be you. Which one?
Andy Henry. Which you're always welcome to talk to any of the staff as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Don't feel like you have to wait for a track meeting to bring
Absolutely.
things up.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Yeah. We're all very excited. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we're adjourned. And our next meeting is June 14th at 4:30.
All right, everybody, have a fabulous rest of your week. And we're happy to, if you want to talk with Elizabeth and maybe get some of your thoughts. Now you pick mine. I don't know if I can wait.
You can't just leave us with this.